Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fabs in the wild, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna take a picture of this log. Pretty much we want everything in focus from the beginning to the end of this. So from here to there, that's gonna be what we want in focus. So we gotta measure from this point over here to this point over here from the film plane of the camera, which is right over here. All right, by the way, we are in this setting over here. We got pretty much the place all for us. There's nobody, so it's pretty cool. It's the dawn, sun is coming up, and we want that log to be all in focus. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna use this laser rangefinder. All right, turn it on. It's set in meter, so I'm just gonna punch the distance that I'm gonna find. I'm gonna line the bottom of the tool with the film plane level, which is where a little bit before the dark side, right, which is on this side. So I'm just gonna line this fella right over here and shine the laser right there. I don't know if you can see it from the first spot, the closest spot to the camera, which is going to be 1.4 meters. All right, then I'm going to take a second measurement with the laser reaching here. Oops, reaching, let me check, right over here. So it's 1.54. It was a little bit early, so 1.6. So we have 20 centimeters of depth of field that we're gonna have to punch in from 1.4 to 1.6. So you check the 1.6 on the lens, and it's gonna be after the 1.5 right over here, and the 1.4 is gonna be pretty much in between the 1.2 and 1.5, a little bit closer to that. So we need to set an aperture high enough that with the hyperfocal we're gonna include those two measurements that we got over here. So in this case, for example, 1.6 and 1.4, we can focus at 1.5. So we're gonna have 1.6 here, 1.4 there. So I would say f8 would be enough for this shot to have this log in focus, completely in focus. But so because f8 is a little bit not it's a bit too wide for this lens, I usually I would go a little bit higher. I would say maybe around f16 to gather a little bit more depth of field, because as you can see, it's not gaining much when the lens is focused this close. So lens is very close. It's 1.5 meters. This is just a wide angle, but it's still a 90 millimeter. So remember, it's a 20 millimeter equivalent on full frame, but still, this thing is a 90 millimeter. So the depth of field at the closer distance is going to be tricky to achieve if we want more. So f16, for example, we're going to get like what, 1.8 meter to 1.3 meters. So we're gonna gain a little bit in the front, a little bit in the back to get to manage this log all completely in focus. We want all these details, to pop and to be very, very crisp. Okay, so that is pretty much how we set the focus on the camera. And then you gotta figure out how the exposure is gonna be for this scene. So pretty much the frame I want to do is something like this, but of course we are using a 6x17 camera, so it's gonna be a little bit different. You need something like that, which is a light meter, and this thing just measures light. So I'm just gonna put this guy right over here and leave you with a nice view of the camera like that. So I can show you how to take a measurement with this fella. So in this scene right over here, I'm gonna check, for example, the light in the dark spot right over there. And by the way, I set the ISO 400 because I'm using an HP5 Ilford film. And then I have a compensation factor of -1.5 because I'm using a center filter, which is the 4A in this case for the XL Super Angulo 90mm f5.6, not the darker one. So this is a different center filter, which is needing a -1.5 compensation factor. So I'm just gonna measure with the spot meter set to spot like that, my darkest spot, which is a measurement of 4.8, and I'm gonna store this as a first memory. Then I'm gonna go scan the scene for the lightest spot. I'm just gonna get something like here or something like there, for example, like that, which gives me a reading of 64, which I'm gonna store in my second memory spot. Then I'm gonna go and pick something average, for example, around this area here, like an average gray 18% kinda, to get the middle spot, which kinda nailed it at 16.5. And that's gonna be my third stored measurement. Now I'm gonna do an average of the three readings. I'm gonna get a 16.4 aperture at 1/8 of a second. And with this wheel, I can just cruise through all the couples of aperture and shutter speed and pick the one that I like. For example, in this case, I'm having double thoughts. So I think I want to get even more depth of field right over here and do maybe 22.5. So get up to from 2 meters up to 1.2 meters. All right. So I'm going to do an f/1/4 of a second for the. Here you go. Let's do for the shutter speed. So we said 1/4 of a second. It's already there. f/22.5, which is gonna be somewhere like that, but still black and white. So let's do that. Cock the shutter. Then what you need to do right over here is just grab your shutter release, get it ready. Make sure your dark slide is out. Don't forget that. And you should be pretty much good to go to take this beautiful shot, which I already framed. And it's kind of gonna be looking something like this. But I would like you to enjoy this moment. Because this is the moment you all been waiting for. I'm just gonna move a little bit this camera over here, just to give you the sense, the feel, the hear, a little bit of ASMR in this beautiful scenery, this beautiful setting. Taking some panoramic shots with this Horseman by ourselves in nature. So like living the life, to be honest. And this is gonna be the click that is gonna produce the sound that is gonna take this shot. And 3, 2, 1. Wow, that is something very special. So let's see, we're gonna see later what the result is gonna be. But for now, there's a little thing left to do, which is my procedure. So because this camera has no automatism whatsoever, there is no battery, it's a fully mechanical camera, so there's no help with this, and you need to remember what to do. So in this case, what I need to do is just pull this tab and make sure that I advance the film to the point that the camera just stops. It doesn't load again. And pretty much you need to remember to put the dark slide in, because you do not want to expose another shot. And my routine is cock the shutter and just put the cap on, which is the first step that you do. You remove the cap because there's nothing that is gonna tell you that the cap has not been removed. So maybe you can see kind of like a little bit the framing there. No, not so much. No, it doesn't want to focus there. But anyways, you get the idea of how you set up and shoot with a 6x17 camera. In this case, Horseman SW617 professional, as seen like this in nature, like in a lake, so quiet and peaceful, where you can really enjoy life and you can actually feel alive. So there you have it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned.